Okay, we are back, and the back of the Supro has been separated. This was the final stretch that was difficult. So the two parts that gave me problems were right up here and then up here on the upper bout. So let's take a look inside. It's pretty amazing. Off it comes, and check this out. First thing that jumps right out at you is that a dowel was installed here by the previous repair. And look at it, it's loose up here. I'm not thinking this is a bad idea. So I slept on it, and I think I'm going to keep it. I'm not going to keep this dowel itself, but I like the idea, and I think I'm going to install something better, maybe with a dovetail joint from the neck block down to the end block. Some of you may have noticed I called this thing the heel block. I have trouble talking while I'm doing things. And look at what happened here. My previous repairman got the idea to put in a dowel. So he reached inside here with his drill and drilled a hole to get the dowel in. He put the first attempt in, but I guess it wasn't straight. So then he tried it again. Looks like it didn't go well. He repaired it with a patch. And then for the other end, he hadn't really thought about how he was going to attach it. So he just put it in here with a shim. And that was kind of doomed to fail. So that's, I think what I'm going to do is dovetail in a more solid piece all the way up, because that gives a lot of strength, and I don't really think that's going to hurt the sound. Let's see what else happened here. As you can see, I separated. I didn't successfully get underneath the back, between the back and the kerfing on this side, and the same thing happened over here. And I'm wondering why. I'm thinking that the previous repair person used crazy glue for he's probably I'm guessing he got this glued in, and then this part of the back was sticking way up. He couldn't get it to go down, so he put crazy glue here, and that's why I couldn't separate it. And so I'm going to carve these pieces out on both sides. There's some glue on here. I'll strip off the glue just down to the wood, both here and over here on the back itself. And then it'll glue back in very nicely. I'm not too worried about it. It looks like the same thing might have been done previously. Here's a mess of glue. As far as how well did the separation go, the best way to see is how much of the kerfing is still stuck to the back. There's some here, some here, some here. There's some of the glue from the previous repair. There's some kerfing. Really not bad. I mean, this is a pretty thin patch of the kerfing, so I should be able to file it flat. The other thing that I learned from guitar making is that you take your back and your side after you're finished bracing it, and this is basically ready to go once it's repaired. And when you fit it to the top, you make sure it can fit without having to force it, like I believe he did here. So after I get rid of the leftover kerfing, and I get the kerfing here attached to the side nice and flat with a file, I'll just fit the back so that you don't need to use any force to glue it back on. So that's the plan as far as that goes. The other plan is what I started the project for in the first place, is to get at this here. My God, he drilled a hole through here to hold that into place. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So this, and he also butted it against this heel block. So again, I think, I don't think this is worth saving, but I'll try to get it off with intact to use it as a model for a new brace. And I'm going to make the brace a little fatter and maybe anchor it here to the heel block and maybe down here as well. Anchor it under some kerfing, because there's a lot of force on this. I mean, for me to push down on it, I'm putting about 15 pounds of weight to get that against the top. And you can see this was a big problem where the F-hole was collapsing this way. It should be flush, but it's not. But when you push down on this, that becomes a lot closer to flush. So again, it'd be nice to heat this up and get it flush and flat along the this angle here without having to apply force to it. That's ideal. Over on this side, where this brace seems to be holding very well, I can't feel anything loose. This will sort of be my goal, to replicate what's here, and that should be possible. Given how much force is on this, I'm thinking about sistering another brace onto this to make it stronger, but I'm not sure. I think the real problem here is if the glue gives out. So here's another feature, is that you can't see the dovetail joint holding the neck in. I mean, I didn't really expect to see that. This is normally like this, in that you don't see the joint here. So I'm giving some thought to whether the neck should come off now and then be reattached now. Probably I'll take it off now, then fix the back. Then after the back is on, then reattach this. Maybe get this to fit while the back is off as best I can. But then you got to have the back on, because it's a delicate adjustment, and you need the back may change the configuration on the top. And basically everything else is scraping off glue, getting this level. Pretty doable. A couple of holes in here. Maybe that's for the pickup. Other issue is here is a ground wire that goes through the F-hole over to the tailpiece. So that's grounding the tailpiece and connecting the ground to the pickup. I'm not crazy about this going through the F-hole. And it rattles around. You could potentially hear that when the instrument is being played. Not desirable. And finally, the back. This looks like a kind of a birch plywood here. It's got a little bit of tigering. You know, this pattern in the grain here is sort of crossfire, they also call it. And it looks like veneer because it's it looks quarter sawn here, but then you see this grain pattern. So that kind of suggests to me that it's roll cut. Basically, it's roll cut veneer where the log is on a lathe, and then a knife is applied to it, and then this just peels off, so you get the pattern of the grain. That's a common veneer pattern when it's roll cut veneer. And then on this side, you also get a very nice tigering that's genuine, but this is not a carved piece. This is plywood. See, can you see? Yeah, there's a good view. So there's a top ply, a bottom ply, and then a middle ply, which could be Luan. here's some, I've got to go all the way around the edge and glue these back together. There's some separation I can feel. Look at that. Here's some separation here where the veneer has lifted, so I'll probably have to cut that out, scrape off the glue, re-glue it. Here's some squeeze out, maybe from original manufacturing. A few gaps. So this can be fully restored. It's basically pretty good. And again, I'm going to, right now I'm leaning towards recreating this additional support. I don't really see any harm in it. I missed that. This dowel will be removed, and of course this stump will be removed, but I'm kind of liking the idea of adding this strength. There's so much tension on this. And when the strings are at full tension, this is going to want to go out, right? Because the neck is going to be folding down and twisting this outward. So if you've got a dovetail joint here with a bar of some kind going all the way down here and dovetailed at both ends, that gives the guitar a lot of resistance to flexing in either direction. I can't really think that that's going to hurt the sound. The sound is primarily here on the soundboard, and this would not touch it. So I'm kind of thinking I'm going to go ahead with that. To be seen.